Welcome. This bite-sized seminar is part 4 in our series introducing dry eye, brought to you by the Alcon Experience Academy, and we will be looking at dry eye clinics. Are they separate or part of your normal clinics? How do you fit it in? It is believed that dry eye disease, as identified in the recently published TFOS Juice 2 report, is experienced by up to 40% of the UK population. As practitioners, how do we manage this in practice? Do we even attempt to? Are our clinics set up to allow us to identify, treat and follow up on these patients presenting with symptoms? 86% of all dry eye disease has an element of evaporative dry eye, and 90% can be treated in-house. So there's a huge market for eye drops and associated products. But how can we manage this? We could incorporate dry eye assessment into our normal clinics, i.e. a routine sight test. But what are the advantages and disadvantages of this? Let's take a look. The advantages: less demand on chair time. It's all done within the normal testing time and there's no particular need for specialist equipment. But that's about it. So let's now look at the disadvantages. There's no additional charge for the service. Therefore, there's little perceived value in tagging it on to the end of a sight test. Compliance tends to be low as the advice is free. People are more likely to follow advice they've paid for than that which is given free. And there's nothing in the diary booking service that allows for follow-up appointments. So is this a missed opportunity for the practice? And could we introduce a dry eye clinic to run alongside the routine sight tests as a further way of supporting our patients' needs? By doing this, we are opening up a further revenue stream, and one that isn't tied to the NHS sight test fee when it comes to charging for our professional services. Think dental fees. NHS checkups are predetermined, but root canals and crowns are priced individually based on chair time, equipment and materials. So how would you go about setting up a clinic? Well, first you need to crunch the numbers. What are the true practice costs per hour, broken down by all overheads, including equipment, staffing, rent and rates, etc. And how long are you going to allow for each appointment? You need to factor in the increased costs for any equipment bought specifically to assist with provision of the service, and appreciate that there will likely be no dispense to offset any costs. So how do you decide on an appointment format? Is 30 minutes long enough? Maybe a double appointment for initial consultations. But remember, the pricing structure will be dependent on chair time, so bigger upfront costs and less for ongoing management of the condition seems to be the norm. Next, we need to consider how we will staff it. Do we have one specialist clinician in practice, or do we ensure that the whole team can provide the service to the same level? The BCLA Dry Eye Certificate is a good way to ensure that they all have a good understanding of dry eye disease. And here at Alcon, we run a dry eye education day with a mixture of lectures, workshops and peer discussion. Just as contact lens clinics requires a support team to conduct application and removal teaches, so will dry eye clinics need knowledgeable staff to provide good information prior to the assessment and discussion regarding the treatment plan post-consultation. This should be a delegated function, freeing up more chair time for the clinician. Alcon professional development managers can come into a practice and deliver a dry eye training session aimed at your front of house teams, providing them with the knowledge about our product range and how the various products available differ. Pre-consultation symptomatology questionnaires completed either by the patient alone or with a trained staff member or the clinician are key to establishing a link to dry eye disease. TFOS Juice 2 recommends both the DEQ5 and the OSDI12. The latter also has an app available. Equipment needed as a minimum would include a slit lamp. This enables both corneal and conjunctival staining assessment, tear meniscus height measurement, and assessment of the lids for blepharitis and or meibomian gland dysfunction. A keratometer, a one-position design for assessing Myers for non-invasive tear breakup time, fluorescein for staining, Lisamine Green. A recent statement by the General Optical Council declared that Lisamine Green was safe to use and that optometrists and contact lens opticians in the UK may, within their scope of practice, use a CE marked Lisamine Green impregnated ophthalmic strip for clinical investigations of the ocular surface until further notice. You can see the full statement here. It will identify lid wiper epitheliopathy, lid parallel conjunctival folds, and conjunctival staining. Meibomian gland forceps and jeweler's forceps will assist with expressing the glands and cleansing debris from the lashes respectively. Additional equipment to consider. The following types of equipment are suggestions of some of the items you might invest in to elevate you from offering a simple service to being recognised as a specialist in dry eye management. Having some or all of these items will enable you to charge appropriately for your time and expertise. Osmolarity testing, i.e. the saltiness of the tears, is an excellent measure of dry eye disease, and options available make use of a test card or sensor to record the osmolarity. Be advised that these single-use cards can cost approximately £20 each, so this should obviously be factored into any appointment costs. There's equipment available that will record a host of dry eye disease measures, including digital tear meniscus height, tear breakup time determined by the breakup of placido rings reflected on the corneal surface, and also meibography using infrared to check meibomian glands for shortening and dropout. Other products worthwhile include machines which are good for a deep clean of the lids on a regular basis. Think a trip to the dental hygienist. A slit lamp camera can be invaluable in the education of your patient to enable them to own the management of their condition by seeing it and understanding better what is happening. Products to stock. Most eye drops on the market cater for aqueous deficient dry eye disease and don't have any lipid enhancing ingredients. These are fine for people seeking dry eye relief and come in a range of mild, moderate and severe. From our Systane range, we would recommend Systane Ultra for mild to moderate dry eye and Systane Hydration for moderate to severe dry eye. Products containing lipids and oils are recommended for people with evaporative dry eye disease. Remember, 86% of sufferers exhibit an element of evaporative dry eye disease, so it's important to stock these alongside the eye relief products. Systane Balance is one of only a few products available to practices and patients that is specifically formulated for evaporative dry eye. A third subtype of dry eye disease classification was established by the JUICE 2 report, and that is mixed dry eye. This affects approximately a third of all sufferers of dry eye disease, and they will exhibit elements of both aqueous deficient and evaporative dry eye. Systane Complete has been formulated specifically for mixed dry eye disease and allows support staff to recommend it where a diagnosis has not been made, safe in the knowledge it will treat both evaporative dry eye and aqueous deficient dry eye. Ointments and gel drops are principally designed for overnight use, and Systane gel drops are an example of these. For the lids and lashes, you will need foams and lid wipes to cleanse. For Demodex, tea tree oil wipes are recommended. Heated eye masks. The days of advising your patients to use a hot flannel to melt blocked meibomian glands are long gone. Lids need to be consistently heated to approximately 40 degrees centigrade for about 10 minutes to melt the meibum. Heated eye masks will achieve this consistently. Omega-3 supplements. Omega-3 and omega-6 are essential fatty acids which the body can't produce but can be found in oily fish and nuts and seeds. They are also thought to assist with reducing the symptoms of dry eye. JUICE 2 advised that improving the ratio of omega-3 to omega-6, a ratio of 1 to 4, would assist in treating dry eye. But Western diet has a much higher ratio, anything from 1 to 10 to 1 to 50, depending on the study. So taking supplements or increasing your diet with oily fish and reducing red meat intake can help. Pricing structure. Once you've established the costs, you also need to consider the level of service provided and payment options. This could be a simple monthly direct debit option providing nothing more than chair time and the patient pays separately for any products required, or by offering a bespoke service using state-of-the-art equipment. You could start simple, and as the patient base increases, invest in more equipment and offer more services, reviewing your pricing and customer proposition as you go. Scenario 1 is a chair time only direct debit scheme. A practice with 2,000 patients runs a dry eye clinic twice a week. Now let's assume 40% of the patients will have some form of dry eye disease, and for calculation purposes 75% of them would want a treatment option through this service. So 40% of 2,000 patients is 800, and 3/4 of 800 equals 600 patients on the direct debit scheme. Now if we charge £13 per month, that's an extra £93,600 per year on turnover with no overheads other than chair time. 93,600 divided by 104, that's 2 clinics per week times 52 weeks, gives a turnover per clinic of £900. If we supplement this with the purchase of dry eye drops, wipes, heated eye masks, etc., and again make an assumption that they buy 3 products a year, each on average, this could add a further £30 times 600 patients equals £18,000 to your turnover, equating to £173 per clinic, again divided by 104 clinics. So in this example, each clinic would generate over £1,000 in revenue with only a very small cost of sales for the products sold. Scenario 2, a fully equipped practice offering a suite of tailored options. In this scenario, you would factor in all the points already raised in this discussion and charge accordingly. On screen is an example of a dental practice price list. There's a huge variance in prices for different processes, but people expect to pay for the treatment they are receiving. Private practice pricing does not have to be linked to NHS charging. Whichever option you choose, it is important to get the message out there that you are offering this service. You should have price list leaflets at strategic points around the practice, such as the reception desk, the waiting area, the dispensing desk, and the payment point. You could run introductory offers in a local advertising campaign. Also make use of social media options to have a real online presence in your community. And finally, ensure satisfied customers spread the word, the best form of free advertising. So in summary, calculate the cost to run the clinic, ensure all team members, clinical and support teams are knowledgeable, use symptomatology questionnaires, the DEQ5 or the OSDI-12, factor in any equipment costs, be aware it could develop as the patient base grows, have excellent knowledge of all products stocked and how they differ and what they treat, have treatment leaflets and price lists, be transparent and upfront about costs, spread the word through social media, local marketing, word of mouth and practice leaflets. If you have any further questions or would like more information, please contact your Alcon Business Development Manager or a member of our customer services team. This was brought to you by the Alcon Experience Academy and forms part of our Dry Eye online seminars. Thank you for your time.